These are my usual kinds of drawings. Often they're of square-jawed men. Other times there's something more going on. When my friends see my drawings, they'll often say,
"Oh, that's really good. I used to draw, but I can't anymore. I only draw stick figures."
But the usual takeaway is, I could never draw something like that. And that's true, because my style is something that took me years to develop. Since I could hold a pencil, or a Crayola marker, or a fancy art pen, I've gone from drawing stick figures fighting badly drawn monsters to my own unique style. Now, style might not seem like the right word to use when talking about art, since we mainly use it to talk about how someone looks. But style is crucial to an artist's work, because it makes them different from any other artist. A fully realized style also says a lot about the artists themselves, like how the style of Norman Rockwell, an American painter who painted Rosie the Riveter, is different from Hans Rudolph or H.R. Giger, who created the alien from, well, Alien. Through their work, you can see their different outlooks on life. Where Rockwell's work is idealistic and patriotic, Giger's looks at the darker side of our connection to technology and sexuality. But this doesn't mean that artists are slaves to their style, because art is amazing at evolving. Rockwell is usually seen as portraying only the positives of America, but he was never afraid to point out its flaws. And Giger evolved his style by, Giger kind of found his thing and stuck with it. But his mastery over the thing he found is still very admirable. There are many things I admire about these artists, but one of the biggest ones is their work ethic. An artist with a good work ethic is willing to put themselves out there to better their art. Because so much of his work is very similar, Rockwell may not have been unsatisfied, but his body of work shows his real work ethic. Giger, on the other hand, constantly experimented with other mediums, especially ones that were difficult to master, like sculpture and airbrush, and he showed technical mastery in both. It's often said that good artists take, while great artists steal, and the man who first said it really practiced what he preached. What Picasso stole from, or his influences, were many different things like African masks, war, and especially other artists. One of his favorite influences, Paul Cézanne, he even said was the father of us all. And it really shows because Picasso borrows so much of his visual storytelling from Cézanne's work. So what kind of artist am I if my drawings look like this? Well, I'm a guy who loves comic books, drawing, history, and movies. My influences would be artists like Bill Watterson, who drew Calvin and Hobbes for newspapers. He captured the energy and creativity of childhood like no artist ever has, and brought to life some of the worlds that populated our daydreams when we were children. Another artist I love is Frank Miller, who created some of the best noir stories of any medium. Seeing how Miller plays with the medium of comics and the monochromatic palette is thrilling. Another big inspiration for me is the work of Mike Mignola. His use of heavy blacks and complete control of the pacing of his comics make for some tense and sometimes terrifying moments. Also, anything involving Monty Python. They are comedic geniuses. I don't think I've ever laughed as hard as I did when I watched the Life of Tchaikovsky sketch with a group of friends. All this means my style is a sort of visual collection, meaning that I've found specific ways my favorite artists draw things, like ears or noses, and I've added them together. My style is cartoonish like Calvin and Hobbes, sleek and refined like Frank Miller's work, ridiculous like Monty Python, just as insane as me, but still grounded. As many artists have, I found a style that I love using, and I've brought many of my old creations along with me and kept making them the best I could. But where does my art go from here? I've tried different things, looking at different media, finding out tips about anatomy, drawing landscapes as quickly as I can. Fun little challenges, but they seem ineffective. It seems like my art has become connected to an old broken down building. Because I've become so busy with other things, my devotion to my craft feels like it's fallen into disrepair. If artists' styles were buildings, then mine would be an empty husk, while others would be lavish hotels constantly being rebuilt and renewed. I know there's hope for my art, though, because I still see beauty in small moments, these bits of inspiration. Things like seeing a fox treading delicately on the grass late at night, the bell tower draped in yellow light, and especially the flowers blooming in January. I beg them to hide again, to be patient like December branches, but they sprout bravely into this hostile world. And that's kind of what I feel I need to do now. I need to put myself out there, make more, do more. Another man who's a big inspiration to me once said, "The most dangerous thing in life is playing it safe." So here's me not playing it safe. I'm working on different stories I've had in my head for years, and it's really fun. It's what I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm so glad I get to do it now, because now's the best time to do it. When someone shows me one of their first drawings, no matter how good it is, I always want to say, "That looks great." They don't believe me, of course. They tell me, "Oh, you're just saying that." But that's exactly why I'm just saying that. I place the idea in their minds that they can draw, that they can create, that they can do something. And I want to give that to everyone I possibly can. Because I think that's the best thing you could give anyone.